thank you so much for joining us at the end of the day for this breakout session, Media Opportunities in the Isle of Man. And this is about the fact that we are following on from a rich background in film. Are there any opportunities? And if so, what are they for the future on the island? Before we get into it, I would like to invite our panellists to introduce themselves. If we start with Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave Armstrong, and I've been around the sort of industry and the Isle of Man for an awful long time. And, you know, I've seen the industry peak, come and go. I came here to open a recording studio and music. I moved into film, and I'm now also in writing. But as I say, I've seen it come and go, so hopefully I have a little bit of experience and I remember the good old days, and I know there will be good new days too.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Theobald. I'm a film actor and producer. Probably most notable for my work with Christopher Nolan, 5 films with him, including producing and being lead actor in his debut feature. And I've produced and acted in shorts, features and documentaries in the Isle of Man, in the UK, Europe and the US.
Hi, I'm John Quayle. I run Greenlight International, which is a sales and distribution company for a local TV production company, Greenlight Television. I've been doing this for 30 odd years. I'm mainly in TV, to be fair. I haven't really been involved in film, but
So all of you three enjoy and continue to enjoy a career in the media on the island. And I know that you probably spend sometimes off the island progressing your career. But how do you sustain your business here at the moment?
I do anything. No, I realised when I first moved to the Isle of Man and got into the sector, that diversifying for me was really important. Now, I sort of feel I've got a creative mind, and I thought it was music, and then I got the opportunity to make a music video. It was actually for a local band on the island about our old boat called the Lady of Man, and that was the first opportunity to make a film on the Isle of Man. And I realised that diversifying was important. Most of my work actually is local at the moment. I do a lot of editing, too much time in front of a computer. But what I really like is the sort of diversity and the sort of never-ending upgrading of my skill set. I shot a teaser for a short film in summertime this year, and just to remind myself what a joy it is to film on the Isle of Man. And I still get calls from production companies. People want to make movies here. And it's always a good sign.
Yeah, on the island, I've worked for the digital agency. I've worked with Dave. I've worked with Zoe. I spend a lot of time as a member of the Isle of Man Arts Council, as a representative of film, working with production companies on the Short Film Fund, which has been very successful since we set that up. And in the UK, I think I still have an agent. He never calls. And I still go over there quite regularly to try and get work over there as an actor and as a producer.
Well, funny enough, I don't do anything on the Isle of Man. All my business is off island, and probably about 10% of it is in the UK and 90% is international. So I'm Greenlight Television make it, and I sell it basically as the principles of it. So and Greenlight's obviously they're based here on the island and employ 13, 14 people, and obviously for TT and those and Southern 100 they bring or hire locals and bring in camera crew and what have you. But from my point of view, as I say, all my business is off island. So.
Thank you. A lot has changed since the era of film production on the Isle of Man, which we referred to in the title of this session. So what do you think is holding back media on the Isle of Man now?
I think all of us probably have examples of TV series and films that wanted to film on the Isle of Man and weren't able to get the same tax credits that they're able to get in the UK or in other jurisdictions. I mentioned the Short Film Fund earlier that the Isle of Man Arts Council generously set up. That's been very successful. The short film is traditionally very difficult to get funds for because there are the receipts that come in afterwards, and so there are very few places that you can go to get funding for short films, the BFI in the UK, and so because we have a short film fund here, 50% of the applications that we get in, roughly 50% are from the Isle of Man and 50% are from the UK, and the quality of the applications means that we're funding more UK production companies to come here and film on the island than we are Manx ones. And they come here and they want to film here because the money is here.
I think I've been recent experience with companies or productions that have wanted to come to the Isle of Man. You realise that, it is difficult to break down all of the barriers. And obviously the first barrier is the bit of water that sort of exists between the two islands, this island and the other place. And the cost of getting here is obviously part of it. And obviously Jeremy mentioned the tax incentives that at the moment we can't give, although we still feel there are other ways to incentivise production. And the other barrier is, and it's a bit of chicken and egg, is human resource. I've got a BBC crew coming over next month, and they're just after a runner, to get some experience on a shoot. But of course, because everyone's working, it's very difficult. And part of the beauty of having a film and media infrastructure that's active is that you have a constant churn of young people coming through the system who want to learn, who want to work in the industry. And of course, then you just go, yeah, sure, we've got 10 people. I'll find you one that can work on your film. And I know the same is true with some of the short films that are coming over. The guys call me, and they try and get a list of personnel that would be available. But it is tricky. It is tricky. And I think that's an important thing to remember when we're rebuilding the infrastructure of this sector, is the benefits to the younger generation and to education. There's a lot of opportunities and a lot of then good reasons for younger generation to want to stay on the Isle of Man. But as I say, breaking down those barriers one by one, transport, all of those little things that can add up to be a big headache, and personnel, as I say, is one of them.
On the education side, which obviously we're all interested in, it's Greenlight who actually takes on quite a few of the trainees who come through our Isle of Man College, because we do train up people in media. So, John, how do you see that?
Yeah, I think there's 4 lads working for us at the moment who all came through the UCM at various stages. We also run a work experience program where the kids themselves have to apply. You're not assigned to Greenlight, you have to apply to Greenlight, and then you come in for 2 days. If you come in for a week, 2 if you come in for a week, and you're given the entire resources of the company, a camera, and you have to go and make a film. And we get some good films and we get some not so good films, but most of the kids are all interested in it before they apply. And then we all have on the Friday at the end of the week, the entire company goes into the boardroom and we watch the film with them. They can utilise anything but in the company, but they have to go and do it themselves. So they have to go and ask to interview a director, or they have to go and ask to interview or how to use the edit suite and what have you. But what that enables us to do is we find talent from that, and sometimes we help them through college, or sometimes we'll help them through university, or give them work and in summer when they come home or they're on holidays. And then we also get applications directly from guys and girls who are at the UCM, and then we. So as I say, we've just taken on. Well, we've just taken on one, but we have 3 staff who are working. They often then, as is right, they start their own businesses, and so 3 or 4 of the companies, the media companies now that are on the Isle of Man, are run by ex Greenlight staff.
Yeah, just want to add something. Just a little point on the benefits of the Arts Council scheme and the importance of short filmmaking in offering those opportunities. Very often, a film company or a media company or a production company will want to come over here and shoot, and the thing that they will look for is that experience. And that experience on shooting on a short film and being part of a crew is really important. And I think without the Arts Council scheme at the moment, the Isle of Man wouldn't have that opportunity. And I think it's a really important part of it to get young people in a crew on a film shoot, and that's their experience, that's their calling card, their IMDb calling card, that they have had that experience. So just to say, thank you, Arts Council.
Thank you. I was just wondering about taking things to the next level for media on the Isle of Man now, from your 3 very different standpoints. Have you got any ideas of where those opportunities are going to lie and how we support you in those?
Start. Let's say, because I do get a lot of calls, as we all do. We can get a lot of calls from production companies and know that there is an appetite. Any filmmaker that's been to the Isle of Man really wants to shoot on the Isle of Man. But obviously that's not a barrier, because the Isle of Man, it is a beautiful place. There's a lot of fantastic locations, easy to get around, little amount of red tape, but obviously the barriers that exist to actually make that practicable and get the production underway come up virtually within day one when they ask the questions and you start getting into the details of transport costs, infrastructure, what equipment have we got here, what personnel have we got. And our job, I think collectively, is to break those barriers down as much as we can, while the clever boffins are working out an overall strategy of how we can help incentivize film. And I think there are quite a few ways to do that, because filmmaking, I was looking at some figures today of what the media industry and the TV and film industry were making for the UK. And it is a staggering amount of money, revenue, that is made in this industry. And if we don't try and capitalize on it, we're just missing out on another great revenue stream. Not only a revenue stream, but obviously it's great visibility for the Isle of Man. So as I say, the main point is trying to break all the barriers down as best we can, one at a time. And we're looking at ways to do that. And obviously with the Arts Council scheme, it means that off-island production companies are coming to the island and talking to us about the barriers that they find. And if we can find ways of helping them, we will.
Yeah, I think it's a strategy. It's about having the enthusiasm for building the industry here again. Yes, we can't do tax credits because we are a low tax jurisdiction, but there are ways of working with UK partners to get the 20% of UK production that doesn't get tax credits filmed here by breaking down the barriers. A film budget, a TV budget is literally a pile of big cash that needs to be spent where it's made. And we used to have that. And when you talk about gross value added, it's the hotel rooms, it's the catering that's buying Manx food in the shops to be able to feed the film crew. It's the transport, it's the diesel, it's the location licenses that go directly to M&H when you want to film at the wheel, and it's the carpenters and the painters and the set builders and the costume and the hair and the makeup people that all get paid, and the accountants, maybe not the accountants, that all get paid when you make that film here. So it's about having an enthusiasm for building that industry again, and then, as Dave mentioned, the island becomes an attractive place to film, and it becomes an attractive place to come to as well. I don't think it's. I think everyone is aware of the Game of Thrones tourist effects to Northern Ireland and the Harry Potter effect to the studios in the southeast of England, and the Doctor Who museum to Cardiff. There was a report in The Guardian today that filming the Doctor Who series in Cardiff has added 135 million of gross value added to the Welsh economy, just because that money is being spent directly there.
To continue on the theme, but again, a report said that TV industry or the media industry is going to be worth 53 billion in the UK in 2030. So, and we're not really getting that much of it. And I think we need to start targeting, breaking down the barriers, I think is the phrase we've been using to allow people to come over and film, and whether that's by looking at grants or other methods of doing it. I think it's an opportunity that we shouldn't miss.
We haven't had a massive amount of time to go into the history or to go into the specifics of what's changed, but does anybody from the floor have any questions for any of the guys?
Do you think that location filming is going to play a significant part in the way the films are made in the future with the advances of meshing things together with AI and VR?
Yes. Whatever you do in terms of AI and VR, there is absolutely nothing like filming on location. And if you take my friend Kristen as an example, making Tenet, the backwards car chase was filmed over a period of 2 months in Estonia, and the Estonian government shut down 8 miles of 4-lane motorway for 2 months simply so that they could film that. And it's much better for it. It's much better for the performances, for the actors. To talk about the sort of AI or the VR stuff, then there is an opportunity there as well. One of the things I was going to mention is that if we, rather than becoming an independent film studio or expecting the government to do that, which was sort of the way that it was going, if we work with partners, if we work with the Liverpool Film Office and the studios in Liverpool, they don't have a video wall. A video wall is a relatively small space thing that we could put up in Mountain View. And if we partner with the Liverpool studios, then they can just bring a couple of actors and 3 techs over to be able to do that scene, project it onto the video wall. And that's a ready-made industry there and now.
I've been working for the past 2 years in film post-production on very small budget bits. And the amounts of virtualized stuff coming through kind of on low budget films has been really, really rampant up.
And again, there's a very good model. There's a big UK company that deals exclusively in post-production investment. So lots of films go over budget. They don't have money for their post-production. These guys provide them post-production at a discounted rate for points in the film. Again, that's another model that we could look at, that we could use. We could partner with successful companies that do that already, and you build a post-production industry here. And everything is shot up to the cloud anyway, so they can do it. They can download it in LA to the studios there.
Yeah, I think the obviously the talk of virtualization. Green screen's been around for a long time, and obviously, even at my level, I've used green screen for changing the location to be. I wanted a scene to be in in London or the UK, so it's not hard to do. But what we do have here, and I think Jeremy's point about Christopher Nolan, a lot of directors really like to do things in camera, and the things that we have here that we can offer in partnership with the likes of Liverpool or wherever, we've got real castles that are just there. Do you know what I mean? We've got the real thing. So, yeah.
Like his films. I guess what I'm saying is, to your point where you were saying, we don't have, a cascading pool of people on the Isle of Man all the time. Filming only happens, kind of almost kind of seasonally, at least at the low level. You've got to go out in the summer when it's nice. It's not an all year round thing, but it was more focused on post production. On the Isle of Man, you would have that pool of people, and then you could insert.
Well, you could, but Jeremy's point about studio activity, that's an all year round activity. I, as a filmmaker, I don't want it to be sunny all the time. I don't mind going out and shooting when it's not bright and sunny. Atmosphere is good. So, it can be an all year round, as I say, if the studio activity in there as well. And of course, like you say, with post-production as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunities, and we should always play to our strengths. And one of our strengths is the fact that we've got a fantastic real-life environment, varied environment in which to film. And also, like I said before, the ease of access, lack of red tape, shooting in places. It's not too difficult to pick up a phone and get the permissions to shoot somewhere. Whereas in the UK, in London, or, sometimes it is trickier. We've just got to keep breaking down the other barriers as well.
Thank you very much for your question. I would say that, I suppose the final question for me is, do you feel that there is hope for media on the Isle of Man? I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, is there scope for, maybe you already do a bit of this, but scope for localised video and films and, dare I say it, reality programmes, local good news stories to be followed and filmed in that way?
There is getting the investment for it. It's a difficulty. There's a production company here. The CEO is based here, called Great Guns, and Laura Gregory has had many conversations about reality TV shows here. Throwing a bunch of kids into a farm.
News stories that are big impact statements to the island, maybe.
I'd say obviously we do have within our midst even, local production companies who do produce. I mean, the thing is, a lot of them, a lot of us are really, really busy, and obviously focusing on those sort of bigger productions that can be translated from just being on local YouTube viewership into the wider distribution network is always a tricky one, because trying to find the market for it, it's tricky, but it can be done. But it's resource, it's time, and it's finding the right niche for it. But it has been done. We've had a few of those productions done over here.
Yes, in fact, I was at the Department for Enterprise for a few years, going back now, and we did have a few production companies who would come over and really wanted to do stuff here. And we had Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen came over and did a lifestyle show. He really enjoyed it. And Isle of Media, who are the company here, trying to kind of, I think the difficulty in the Isle of Man has always been, recently we've been trying to create jobs, but with the media companies and with projects, it's very much freelance. So it's really difficult to kind of start something that's going to be constant here. So even the reality TV shows, it's only for a certain amount of time, and unfortunately, the investors won't justify putting things here and paying for them.
Just one point on that, though. What I'd say is those things are really important within the whole sort of ecosystem of film and media. But the thing that's really important about film and television, high-end stuff, is what it does for the island's appearance to the rest of the world. Those sort of productions, and Jeremy's saying about them shutting down a highway in Estonia for weeks just to shoot a scene. we've got to remember this, the real importance of those high-end productions in what it means. And without that, I think just going into the sort of, I'm not sort of saying just lowbrow, but you know what I mean, the sort of reality TV stuff. You know what I mean? Without the
I'd watch it.
But without the other stuff as well, you know, you don't want to tar ourselves with the brush of, oh, did you see the pro?
It ended a really good light and it showed the outcome, not only the person that's in it could be out for it as well, and it's the good news story in reality.
Anything to say about good news?
Well, funny enough, we have. I mean, it's been in collaboration with the government. We did do, it's on ITV4 just before the TT. In fact, a docu-series around the TT, which not always ends in. It usually ends well. So it's yeah. Absolutely, and I mean half the battle with a docu-series of any sort is finding schedule time for it and getting someone to invest in it. You know, we've pitched lots of ideas to the broadcasters certainly in the UK, and it's very, very difficult to get it over the line. Gogglebox, for example, took 6 years before somebody said, "Oh yes, that's a great idea," because it's a very difficult thing to pitch. We're going to film people watching TV, and obviously for 6 years they got a great big fat "thank you very much," but no. But eventually it got there. So it's very hard to get the commission. Really, it's difficult.
I think we all think that the Holy Grail would be to have a TV series based on the Isle of Man, set on the Isle of Man, whether it be historical or not. Just that could, I mean, people throw out things like Bergerac, for instance, or what were we talking about before? The farming series, A World Created Great and Small, something that could start the industry and the ecosystem grows and grows, and then yeah, it would be an attractive place to film again. So you never know.
Bergerac was a big thing for Jersey, wasn't it?
So just to finish off, I just wanted to thank you all. And are there any other good news stories that we can talk about before we go?
We're just about to go to Saudi Arabia and film for a brand new championship out there. So that's pretty good.
Congratulations.
Happy news stories. Yeah, I mean, I think the Arts Council and the Isle of Man Arts Council Short Film Fund is going to continue. We did the first year and it was pretty successful. And the board has said that they want to continue that. So that is a small step in the right direction of creating a film industry here, of getting UK production companies to come over here, of being able to train up young people here and get them experience on filmmaking.
I think there's always going to be good opportunities. We've got to sometimes reach out and sort of grab them, but we're a beautiful island to film on. We've got a lot of creative talent here, and we've got a lot of people with the will to try and make this happen and to build up the industry again. As I say, mainly just trying to break down these barriers, be positive about it, keep talking about the Isle of Man, and then hopefully we'll find the way to build those incentives. I mean, we do have an industry here, as you can see. There's guys over there that they're in the industry. Got another fine fellow here, Paul's in the industry. So when you were talking about post-production, so it's not like there is no industry here. We do have a thriving industry. We just need a bigger, more visible one to the rest of the world, because it puts us on the map and it's fun.
Thank you very much, John, Jeremy and Dave, and thank you very much for coming to listen to us today.